police cracked an encrypted phone system used by organised criminals across Europe. What they found shocked even veteran detectives. A revenge plot, dozens of guns, hundreds of rounds of ammunition, and gangsters giving themselves names like characters from video games. One of them called himself Assassin's Creed. His real name, Umair Zahir, 34 years old. A dad of 3 from Eccles, Greater Manchester. If you're into real UK crime stories like this, hit subscribe. I post more cases the news barely covers. April 2020. Salford. 2 men, Brandon Moore and Jordan Waring, survived a shooting. Instead of backing down, they wanted payback. Together with Zahir, they began plotting a revenge attack. In coded messages, Zahir urged them on. One line stood out: "Find the target, and we will end it." Zahir wasn't just talking. On the encrypted platform Encoded, he sent out a shopping list of firepower: AK-47 assault rifles, Scorpion machine pistols, Uzi submachine guns, handguns, and boxes of ammunition. As prosecutors later put it, everything an assassin might want. And Zahir leaned into the role. He gave himself the codename Assassin's Creed. His associate Bilal Khan chose another alias, Legend Killer. This wasn't a joke. These men were trading in real combat weapons, many believed to have been imported from the Balkans. The National Crime Agency and Greater Manchester Police worked together after Encoded was hacked. Suddenly, the messages of Zahir and his crew were visible. Plans for shootings, discussions about targets, and evidence of a full-scale gun supply network. In one exchange, the men bluntly wrote about their rival. "Oh yes, he's a dead man." The investigation traced multiple deals. In Warrington, 3 guns and 300 rounds of ammunition were delivered in a car park for £37,000. In another case, courier Robert Brazendale drove an AK-47 to a customer who paid £10,500 for the rifle. On other days, he made 3 firearms deliveries in just 24 hours. Zahir also supplied drugs alongside weapons: cocaine, cannabis, ketamine. The guns weren't just for show. They were currency in the violent underworld. Brazendale later fled to Spain, but was arrested in Estepona on the Costa del Sol and extradited back to the UK. Another courier, Hitesh Patel, bought weapons including a Scorpion, an Uzi, and a revolver, before transporting them to London. There, police later found them hidden behind a false wall inside a house. The scale of the operation was enormous. At one point, Zahir posed for photos with an AK-47. The arrogance, police said, came from thinking Encoded would keep them safe. It didn't. In court, the evidence spoke for itself. Zahir admitted conspiring to possess firearms with intent to endanger life, and possession of firearms for the same purpose. He also admitted conspiracy to supply cocaine and cannabis. His network of accomplices all pleaded guilty to firearms offences. Bilal Khan, known as Legend Killer, received 10 years and 8 months. Robert Brazendale, the courier, was sentenced to 11 years and 3 months. Brandon Moore, 24, got 11 years and 5 months. Jordan Waring, 23, got 8 years and 7 months. Hitesh Patel, 27, got 7 years and 5 months. Lewis Coleman, 23, was jailed for 6 years and 9 months for drug supply. And at the centre of it all, Umair Zahir, the so-called Assassin's Creed. The judge at Manchester Crown Court handed him 25 years in prison. Tim Story QC described the arsenal clearly. The weapons included combat and assault weaponry designed to inflict catastrophic damage. Neil Gardner from the National Crime Agency added, "The weapons we took off the streets were some of the most lethal around. In seizing them, we saved lives and protected the public. The offenders thought They were safe using encrypted comms. But we built a solid case that forced them to admit their crimes. Detective Constable Stephen Walker of GMP's Organised Crime Unit summed up the threat. This group of men undoubtedly posed a significant danger to Salford. The weapons they had and the conspiracy they were planning could have proved a lethal combination. For the courts, the EncroChat investigation was a turning point. It showed how encrypted platforms gave gangs a sense of security, until police broke through. For Salford, it was another example of how revenge shootings spiral into wider violence. And for Zahir, the gamer nickname Assassin's Creed turned into a badge that prosecutors used against him. Umar Zahir wasn't a shadowy cartel boss. He was a father of three who turned himself into a gun trafficker, fueling violence across the UK. His 25-year sentence reflected the scale of his crimes. And the case proved one thing clearly. Behind every encrypted chat, there's always a risk someone is watching. And one mistake is all it takes to bring an entire network crashing down.